Innovation, imagination, wonder. These are just some of the words used to describe Dr. Harvey Passes. Dr. Passes explores interesting people and ideas that will stimulate you. He questions the people who develop, create, and employ novel concepts in business and everyday lives. He especially loves to speak with successful people. How did they do it? How can you do it too? So let's join Dr. Harvey Passes in his quest of wonder and curiosity as we watch Dr. Harvey Passes Presents.
We're back. I don't mean the show. I mean we're going to be visiting a place that I absolutely I tell you, it just fills my heart, and I find it near and dear to my heart, and that is the North Fork of Long Island, or let's just say the whole Long Island wine country, even the South Fork. And we're here right now with a dear friend of mine from a dear Long Island treasure, which is called Palmanac Vineyards. And we're going to be discussing and talking all about a novel, I can't say invention, but innovation that it seems that the winemakers on Long Island have looked into this, and one of them took the plunge. So we're going to speak to Kareem Massoud all about this plunge, and got something very interesting to learn, and we're also going to have some fun tasting some great vintages from Palmanac Vineyards. Kareem, great to see you again, buddy.
Same here, Harvey.
How's your family?
Good.
Everybody's great?
Thank you. Yeah.
Everybody out in the fields and running around and doing all the stuff?
Very busy. Yeah.
It's terrific. And you've been very busy the past few years. You've had absolutely knock your socks off vintages.
That's right. And the result of that is now we have one of our strongest lineups of wines across everything we make that we've ever had. We have a really happy with the wines we currently have available.
When I spoke to your dad, he really, and well, you the last time I was out at the winery, you really blew me away when I asked how much alcohol was in this, and usually the higher the alcohol usually shows that, you've had a tremendous amount of sugar from the harvest. I don't want people to think we're looking at, drinking high alcohol, but the alcohol will show the quality of the wine. And your wines, normally you're looking at 12 to 13 and a half or 13. Now you've approached 14 and over in some of the wines.
Yeah.
It's amazing on Long Island to hear that.
That's right, and for us, it's definitely something we're not normally known for. And even, for example, the Sauvignon Blanc that we're going to taste, that's 13.9% alcohol.
Which is amazing.
That is amazing for Long Island. That's about as high as it gets for a cool climate.
That's the thing that people have to understand. That Long Island is not California. We're more like Bordeaux. And wonderful. If you look on the latitude going around, I don't know how many degrees it is. What is it? 32 or 33?
We're Long Island's 43, and
43?
I believe Bordeaux is like 44 or 45.
So you're in the same area, and we're even cooler.
Yeah.
We're even cooler then.
Yeah, we're slightly cooler than.
Slightly, right.
Yeah.
So we don't have the sun that California has. So it's amazing to see that in the past few years we've been able to get such inordinate amount of sun.
Yeah, 07 was a fantastic vintage. 05 was an excellent vintage.
Didn't we have those incredible rains then?
In 05 we did.
So you grabbed everything before the monsoons came in.
All the whites anyway. In fact, we're going to taste some reds which were actually picked after the rain.
Right.
And I guess we'll talk about that more once we get to them.
Let's get going because we've got a lot of work to do here. First, the innovation we've been discussing is what? What did you do? What did the Palmanac Vineyard Winery do?
Well, we did something which might sound kind of very unexciting, but something which I'm very excited about.
Right.
And that is we changed our closure.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make a bottle of wine, you need to seal it somehow to keep it fresh and preserve it so that it can age and develop over the years.
So you stopped using wax, is that it? No, I'm kidding. So you've moved away from cork.
Right, exactly.
And you've gone to what?
To this is called the Stelvin screw cap.
Stelvin screw cap. Okay, Let me have my cameraman get in here and see if you can get a good shot of that and talk about it. What is the big deal? Why did you do this?
The number one reason is, first of all, to get away from cork, because natural cork will actually will spoil anywhere from 2 to 10% of all wines bottled with a cork. And in any other business where you're manufacturing a product,
right?
If I told you 2 to 10 out of 100 of your product would be
go bad,
would result in product failure,
right?
you would look for another type of packaging, because that's basically what we're talking about, is a packaging decision.
That's like taking my investments, and what if I was told every year 5 to 10% of my investments are going to go south? They're going to go bad.
Right. And
crazy.
And it was a known. It's a fact.
Right.
There's not a lot of disagreement in the industry that this is the case.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have that problem, because no matter what, because your wines get sold and they get drunk and they're enjoyed and boom, and that's it. You don't have time for anything to go bad. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, but actually, but that is a very relevant point.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of wine that is, we use the expression corked, and what that means is a corked wine is one that has been ruined by the cork, and the descriptors of what that would smell like, because it's really more of an aroma than a taste. But people use descriptors like moldy cardboard or wet newspaper,
right,
or simply cork.
And that is not a complimentary thing.
No, and so if something is supposed to smell like white flowers or pears or apricots,
not moldy cardboard.
Exactly. So when the wine is corked, it's ruined.
It's ruined. Let's talk about using the Stelvin steel closure, okay? Because you taught me things that I didn't know. I find this very, very interesting. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to have my cameraman get a close-up, if you will, of the screw cap again, and I'm going to ask you, we'll just kind of point out on the screw cap what we're looking at, and what the let me see if we can get a close. Good, great. Okay, now, you told me at the winery something very interesting I didn't know, that when you receive a bottle of wine like this, you say, everybody would think, I would, just open it up, big deal, it's got the metal. Not so, you said. There are two areas you should, what should you look for on this cap?
Well, one of the first most important things is right here at the very top, the very first rim on the very top of the bottle.
There's like a little circular indentation, circumferential.
Right. And that's actually the indentation from the glass on the cap, and that's an indication of how tight a seal you have. And in fact, more importantly, if you don't see a nice complete rim all the way around the top of the bottle,
right,
you could have a leak. I mean, there could be
air,
a gap, where air, or you could just have a leak with wine leaking out.
And then you said the same thing about the bottom.
They call this the tuck here underneath,
the tuck,
and that's holding the capsule in place
underneath the glass lip.
Right.
So you got to have the tuck tucked in, and you've got to have this top tucked in on the top also.
And in general, you want to see good definition on the whole.
So the impression of the bottle, because the bottle's got this thread built into it, you should see it coming through cleanly.
Right.
Correct?
Exactly. And this is comparable to when you have a bottle. It's exactly the same thing as wine collectors are used to examining a bottle with a cork. And there might be different things you look at a bottle with a cork, whether there's any indication that it's leaked, whether the cork is protruding or not, and the fill level in the bottle. And this is just another thing, especially from not just a consumer standpoint, but also as part of our quality control when we're bottling. We're regularly pulling bottles off the line and making sure. And the other thing we didn't talk about were these bridges, these little...
see if we get a close-up again. Okay. Let's get a close-up of the little bridges. It's these vertical lines that I'm seeing here right now.
Yeah, and there's a connection between the cap. That's what's going to crack when you crack it open.
Which we'll hear in a moment. So when we do that little vertical line here is right now holding it together and keeping it closed. And then when you turn it, it's going to open. Okay. It's interesting. Great. Thanks very much. So now let's taste some of your wines, because your wines are absolutely majestic. You've got a Chenin Blanc. And let's take a look at the label. You see the Chenin Blanc here. The Chenin Blanc is, there we go. I'm playing around with the camera here. Okay, so the Chenin Blanc we've got over here. I'm going to open this up, and thank you. The way to open it that I was taught from Judd, what's his first name again? Kevin Judd from Cloudy Bay, was hold the entire steel closure and just turn the bottle. Hold the whole thing and turn the bottle, and listen to this. Listen. And by doing that, you turn it, you break this vertical seal and you open it up, as opposed to holding this and this. That's harder to do.
Mm-hmm.
And just turn it and open up, and you can hear that crack.
Yep.
Okay, let's taste some of this, this is a wine you're known for. This is fabulous. Look at the color on this wine. Tell us a little bit about the Chenin Blanc.
Well, this wine is unique. It's the only Chenin Blanc made in New York, and it may be the only one on the East Coast, or one of the only ones on the East Coast, as far as I know. This is from the 07 vintage, which, as we were discussing, was a great year for us.
Very pale straw yellow, very pale.
Mm-hmm. It has a
almost like a Frascati.
pale color to it, and
peaches and apricots in the nose.
And you also get some citrus, a little bit of
very faint,
sort of grapefruity character.
Grapefruity. I'm getting a little anise. Mm-hmm. Very faint.
And usually the Chenin has some citrus, like grapefruit, and when it's in a riper year, which is what 07 was, then the aromatics become a little more complex. And
outrageous bottle of wine. This would be fantastic with any kind of luncheon meat, any kind of light pasta during the afternoon, sitting around the pool. We've got the weather coming up.
Yeah, actually, one of our favorite pairings with this, we just did it last night at a dinner with oysters, and we just had an event at the winery where we had fresh local oysters, and we do that every year, and we pair the Chenin Blanc with the local oysters, and they're a terrific combination.
You mean you didn't call me? You didn't call me?
We're going to be doing it We're going to be doing it again.
You better let me know. We can film it.
Great. All right.
This would be fantastic with seafood, especially if the seafood's a little briny.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The wine has good acidity to it. That's going to help cut through that, and it's really a refreshing wine.
This is an absolutely amazing
Great
bottle.
summer wine. You stick it in an ice bucket, and it can be really thirst quenching and delicious.
Just fantastic. This wine should be had immediately. This isn't. You don't put this away.
Yeah. I mean, it was bottled about 3 months ago on January 22nd, and usually within the 6 to 9 months after bottling, it really is hitting its sweet spot.
Oh, it's just fabulous, just fabulous. By the way, I want to let my viewer in on a little bit of information. A number of people had contacted me saying when they love the wine shows that I do, and it's a lot of fun, and you can catch this on the internet as well if you want to see some of the old wine shows, and I appreciate hearing that. But please understand, one or two of you have said that you get taken aback when we expectorate or just spit out the wine. I got to do that. If we don't spit out the wine, then we can't go through the show,
right.
And it just has a totally different effect. So I apologize for it, but that's what wine people do when they taste wines. But as a winemaker, otherwise you'd be bonkers.
Exactly.
You can't do that. All right, now, Sauvignon Blanc, another wine you're famous for. Écoutez, listen. You like that?
I love that sound.
I said a little mist came out.
That's
great. Now, Sauvignon Blanc, what is Sauvignon Blanc? Because they both have Blanc. Chenin Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc. What's so special about this? See if you can get a close-up of this one.
This is Sauvignon Blanc that we planted back in 1984, so it's one of our oldest vineyards. And the Sauvignon Blanc is well known in France from Sancerre,
right?
And now it's known. A lot of people know about New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, but the classic, standard for Sauvignon Blanc is Sancerre in the Loire Valley, and same thing with Chenin Blanc, a different grape variety, which they also grow in the Loire Valley of France in places like Vouvray and Savinière. This Sauvignon Blanc, this is the one that's 13.9% alcohol,
Intense.
I think it's
intense.
It's got great body to it. It's got really richness, and it's multi-layered. There's a lot
globs of flavor, and you're right. It's layered on there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't quit in the mouth. It just is with oodles of complex flavors, and just fabulous wine. But all I keep thinking of is smoked trout with a white horseradish sauce. cold smoked trout. What do you think with this?
I'm getting hungry. That sounds delicious.
I mean, I could. Oh boy, We've got to enjoy that this summer, huh?
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but the key thing about this wine, I think, a lot of Sauvignon Blanc are known for sort of grassy green character. This has, I think, less of that and more riper, almost tropical characters, maybe a hint of mango.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe.
Absolutely. In a way, it reminds me somewhat of a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, where you've got passion fruit and the mango and all those exotic South Pacific fruits, which just come through. This is absolutely amazing. You have to save some wine of this.
We're going to try to. Unfortunately, we only made 321 cases of that wine.
Okay, so I'll take 320. Amazing. Just fantastic.
And by the way, all these wines that we're going to be tasting with the screw cap were all fermented in stainless steel, and that's just.
Explain quickly why stainless steel as opposed to oak.
We simply didn't want to introduce any oak flavor or character to
lose the naturalness
to any of these wines. We wanted to keep them as clean and pristine as possible with regard to their varietal expression.
Drinking the Sauvignon Blanc, the Chenin Blanc is like taking the grape off the vine the day of harvest, putting it in your mouth and chewing it, and the only difference is that the wine has more oomph to it.
That is the idea. That's
exactly. Here we go. Listen. Let's pour this. Now we're drinking a festival Chardonnay. Does this mean I'm ready to have a party or what?
Yeah, exactly. This is really meant as an everyday, easy drinking white wine. It's actually bone dry. It has good acidity, and again, it's great for as a summer wine. Stick it in an ice bucket.
Right.
Really refreshing, and it's very versatile. You can have it by itself. You can have it with cheese, with pasta, with lunch meats, seafood. Again.
Ooh.
There's
very different than the other two wines. Was this an oak?
This was not an oak, but it did have a little bit of malolactic fermentation.
That's giving it the creaminess.
Yeah, exactly. But it did not touch oak at all. And you can see again what kind of a vintage it was in this wine. It's really sort of ripe. Again, almost sort of tropical character in there.
Oh my God, this is. I mean, I love when people say, Long Island wines, give me a break. I'm going to say, Long Island wines, go take a break. You're going to enjoy them because they're fantastic. The wines on Long Island are incredible, especially the past few years.
Yeah,
With good fortune.
We're really lucky. We had a string of really good vintages.
This is amazing.
So it almost has like a red apple, or almost like heading into like a candied apple, like confectionery sort of.
Absolutely.
Aromatics going on there.
And Festival Chardonnay is like your entry-level Chardonnay. And this is outrageous.
That we retail it at the winery.
No, I don't want to hear any price.
Okay.
We're not discussing money. Okay? I don't want to discuss that.
All right.
Just that this is your entry level.
It's a good value.
Yeah.
Okay,
let's go to the next one. Now, the taste is marvelous. The flavor stays in your mouth beautifully. I will say that the Sauvignon Blanc and the Chenin Blanc stayed on the tongue longer than the Festival Chardonnay. Interesting to note. Or maybe I didn't give myself enough of it to drink.
Right.
I found these lingered more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a positive comment I'm making.
Right.
Okay, so now this one had a cork. Curious. Is it that you just have a lot of bottles left over, or how come you didn't...
well, for one, that's from the 05 vintage.
Ah, okay.
And,
it was when it was bottled, you didn't have the machine.
Right. And we just started doing this with the 07 vintage.
So, okay.
And in fact, we're shortly, I'm going to be bottling the 07 version of this wine, which will be under a screw cap.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. So this means, you can expect this wine to really, really last and make sure that every bottle is going to be a good one.
Exactly.
No question about it.
In fact,
I never met I never met a wine I didn't like except a bad wine, badly made wine. But it's amazing. I love all of the stainless steel fermented wines, but then we go into oak, and I just love it. There's a certain character. It's a nice vanilla, almost like butterscotch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does have a nice sort of butterscotchy quality to it, and it's great to taste them side by side. That you. on one hand, you can really enjoy the fresh, crisp steel fermented, but the barrel fermented makes...
Oh, just keep talking. I'm just going to enjoy this. Heaven, I'm in heaven. This is just fabulous. Give me a lobster,
Glad you like
please.
it.
Give me a lobster now. Oh, lobster, drawn butter. Oh, forget it.
Yeah.
A nice little baked potato there with a little butter on it there, maybe a little coleslaw.
Some local pecanic-based scallops and
now you're teasing me.
Long Island potatoes.
You're killing me now. There are no more potatoes on Long Island. They're all wine. Right. All the fields.
There's still some good ones.
There's still some, absolutely. Yeah. But we got to wait till November for the pecanic-based scallops.
Right.
Best in the world.
Right. And it's worth the wait.
Worth the wait.
No
Best
question
in the
about
world.
It.
Oh, my God. So this wine is just amazing. This was 05.
Yeah. Another
3 years.
A terrific vintage. It was a hot, dry summer. This was harvested before the rains we were talking about in 05. And now this was bottled in 06, so it's got 2 years of bottle age at this point. And we find with this wine, with that label, this wine starts really hitting its stride after about a year and a half to 2 years.
See,
in the bottle.
What I like about doing these shows with you, I want to tell you, I plan this out purposely. I have you open up your 05 for me to taste to see if it's ready to drink. Then I go into my cellar and I pull out your wine and say, okay, I can drink it now. Why should I take the chance? Right. You take the chance. It's the best way of doing it.
Yeah, and for us too. It's important to constantly, that's the tough part of the job. We have to taste the product.
You have to taste it, right. Same thing like me with dentistry. A tough part, I got to do dentistry.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding. Look at the legs on this wine. Look how thick. Look how viscous that is. Oh, my God. It's beautiful. Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous. Okay, let's move on now. Here's something with it's almost a signature, your Riesling.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to open up your dry. Explain. You got one that says dry table wine and the other says semi-dry. Yeah. Tell my viewer at home what's the difference. Here's our dry.
Well, the expression dry as it relates to wine is actually not unlike when people talk about a well running dry. Except what's happened in the case of wine is the fermentation has run dry. The yeast have run out of sugar to ferment. And so dry means the absence of sugar.
Okay.
And therefore,
good way to describe it.
Semi-dry means it's not completely dry, which actually means it's a little bit sweeter.
The well still has some sugar left in it.
Right. And so in this case, when we say dry, this actually has about 0.5% of residual sugar, about 5 grams per liter of residual sugar, which... The translation, what that means is there's still a hint of a little bit of sugar, but this wine has really nice acidity. So on the palate, it tastes quite dry.
I'm so glad you did all the talking just now. It gave me a chance to breathe in this marvelous bouquet.
Yeah.
I get lychees and apricots, very faint.
Yeah. It's
my
really
God.
again
dried apricots.
Yeah, exactly. There's apricot. There's
wow.
And I think there's really a melange of there's all kinds of green aromas, lime, maybe some lime rind, maybe green apple, and
I'm not sure if I'm getting any petrol. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do you get any petrol in this?
No.
I'm not catching any of that.
Maybe in a few years it could evolve into those.
This is. I'm not really getting a lot of mineral.
Yeah.
Are you?
No.
It's more fruit, if anything else.
Yeah. Like you said, apricot. I think there's a little bit of a spicy element to the wine.
Oh.
Someone mentioned ginger to me, and I noticed maybe a subtle note of ginger.
Get me some Asian food fast. This would be great with sushi.
Yeah.
Oh, knock your socks off. This would be great with sushi. This is fantastic because you're getting fruit, and yet the sugar, it's there, but it's like a hint. It's an echo. And drinking this... I would imagine, well, I don't have to imagine, I've done it, but it offers a nice counterpoint to the intensely flavored Asian cuisines that we have many times. And drinking this is almost like quaffing a nice refreshment to some of the good spices that you'll get in Asian cuisine.
Exactly. Both of these, in fact, both of these Rieslings, I agree.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Oh, amazing. And all from Long Island. I love it. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah. And everything we're tasting, by the way, we're a family estate winery, and what that means is it's my family, My parents and my brothers and myself, we do everything from planting the vineyard,
the bottling,
to harvesting the grapes, vinification, bottling, going on TV, taking out the garbage.
Now listen, we got about 5 minutes left, and I want to hit your reds.
Oh, okay.
So let's
great.
hurry up. We got right now your now this is the one that's got some sweetness to it.
Yeah, this by comparison is about 3% residual sugar, about 30.
Unbelievable, great acid, almost feels as if it's a sparkling wine.
Mm-hmm. It does have a very slight amount of residual CO2, and that's to make it, give it some crisp, fresh.
Gives it good backbone.
Finish to it.
Good backbone. Why don't you put that in the thing? Now, which red do you want to go into first?
Let's see. Maybe let's start with the assemblage. That's our blend.
Okay, it's a blend. And let's do this quickly. I don't want us to get the hook here.
Yeah. All right. And so this is
the assemblage. This is a blend, like your meritage.
Exactly. And in 05, we have the blend right on the back of the bottle. It was 44% Merlot, 34% Cabernet Sauvignon, and actually this year it was 22% Petit Verdot, which the Petit Verdot gives it color and tannin, and this wine is actually not yet released, so this is a preview.
This is outrageous. It's drinkable now, and still it has some astringency. It's drinkable now, and yet there's astringency, and this wine can sit. And you pulled this off after the rains.
Yeah. The rains in 05 were really something else. We had about 18 inches of rain in 8 days.
I remember it very well.
The reason, any winemaker listening to this will kind of think we're crazy to have thought that we could get red wines like this after, and at the time we weren't sure what to expect. But the point is, it was such a ripe vintage, and these are all thick-skinned grapes that they held up through the rain. When the rain stopped, we had about 3 days of just wind, cool winds, which dried
everything out. I got to tell you, I feel like I'm in France drinking this. Yeah. This Cabernet is fantastic. Yeah. This Cabernet is absolutely superb and superior. Just terrific. And that's the 05 thick-skinned Cabernet. Just fantastic. Let me dump this in here. And now, this was your experimental grape that so far has been lauded and look how dark this Petit Verdot. Just fantastic. And Petit Verdot has always been a blending grape. And you took a shot at bringing this out on its own.
Right.
It made its debut.
We planted that vineyard. Both these last two wines are single vineyard bottlings. We call that one Tuttle's Lane Vineyard, and this is Apollo Drive Vineyard. And that vineyard was planted in 01. And so it's a fairly new addition to our repertoire in terms of the reds.
But it's been a big hit.
But what we noticed, especially in the riper vintages, of which 05 certainly was one, the variety Petit Verdot really can stand on its own. And this is 100% Petit Verdot.
This is a porterhouse wine.
I just had it with veal chop the other night, and it was
char-broiled steak, as rough and tough, tumble as it can be. This wine will laugh at it. Yeah. This wine is rich, full-bodied, got a lot of backbone, got good spine, and this wine can sit away for 10 to 15 years easily. Or you can drink it now and still get the pucker.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. We got 1 minute left. We're out of time. Kareem Massoud, I love you for coming down and bringing a forest of these great wines so we can enjoy Long Island wines at its best. In 10 seconds, any comment to make about the enclosure or anything about Long Island wines or what?
Well, I think I'll combine the two by saying I think the screw caps are a great closure to preserve the wine the way it was meant to be, and we're very proud of our wines, and I want to protect them with something that where we won't take a chance of ruining the wine, and that's why we made the switch. Yeah.
Put it there, buddy. Terrific. Always great to see you and your family.
Likewise.
And I look forward to seeing you this coming weekend.
Thank you, Harvey.
Absolutely terrific. And I hope you got a lot out of it, because I totally enjoy when we visit all the wonderful riches that Long Island has to offer. And our wineries are one of our treasures, just like in France. Terrific. So, Dr. Pass is saying, as I always do, whatever you do, like Kareem Massoud, do it with passion, or what's the use? Toast. To Long Island.